Peace be with you. Dear friends, welcome to Living Flame Daily Gospel Reflections for Thursday after Ash Wednesday. Gospel according to Luke chapter 9, verses 22 to 25. Jesus shares with his disciples to prepare them in a couple of ways. First of all, he describes his destiny and their destiny. The rejection of him means the rejection of the disciples. Following Jesus requires that they not be attached to this world, its values, and its acceptance, and that following Jesus requires daily diligence. To follow Jesus, one must count the cost, and that is what we call the cost of the discipleship. There are three realities we must see here. As followers of Christ, we share in the blessing of the message of the gospel of the kingdom with spirit empowerment for life and ministry. Second, some blessings are not yet present in the way they will be as we wait for the return of Christ. During this period, we face a present reality that the forces of this world still have a powerful presence. We are in a war. To survive requires self-denial because the forces opposed to Jesus are opposed to his followers too. Therefore, he tells them to take up their cross, lose their life, and not be ashamed of the Son of Man. Note the context of this section is suffering, rejection, and death. There is one point of this passage. The way to death is the way to life. The road to glory is the road to death. It is in death that we find life. And that is what we learn from Christ. He challenges his disciples that if they want to follow him, they must always carry their daily crosses. Jesus gives three imperatives. That is, deny yourself, take up your cross, and follow me. The first two are prerequisites to the third. You cannot follow unless you deny yourself and take up your cross. Again, to gain your life, you must lose it. To deny yourselves is to give up our lives, our agendas, our plans, and to give ourselves to God's care. Well, it is easily said, difficult to do. He's talking about a fundamental allegiance or loyalty. You must cut the connections to all other allegiances, loyalties, wanting to be in charge of my life. God needs to direct me and my life because I cannot direct it myself. The second command is to take up your cross. The background to the cross is a Roman penalty for a criminal who has been sentenced to death for a crime. The criminal was not only crucified, but he also had to carry his own cross. Listen to this. Bearing the cross displayed a person's submission to the state. It was submitting to the authority of another. In following Jesus, we bear the shame of rejection and death. Therefore, submitting oneself to God and following Jesus means walking the road of suffering, rejection, and even death. And to follow Jesus, one must complete the course. The reason that he says we are to carry the cross daily is that unless we daily die to ourselves and daily submit ourselves to him, again we will drift off course and will not know we are in dangerous waters until it is too late. Therefore, dear friends, looking at this gospel passage in the second day in this holy season of Lent, we are reminded that as the Son of Man must undergo great sufferings and be rejected by elders, chief priests, and the scribes and be killed, because on the third day he will be raised. And Jesus very clearly says, those who lose their life for my sake will save it. At the end of the gospel, Jesus gives us a golden rule. What does it profit them if they gain the whole world but lose or forfeit themselves? Let us pray over this gospel, meditate, and personalize the invitation of Christ in our lives to become His disciples and to walk behind Him. God bless you.